Hey everybody, this is the Post Movie Podcast. I'm Steve Head,
And I'm John Black.
and we are Skyping this time for the first time. This is new to me, so new to John too, I guess. We're winging it, and errors are going to happen. We'll see what
Oh, come on!
happens.
Don't spoil the fun.
We'll see what happens. I mean, typically we record in the studio. And a couple times we recorded remotely, but mostly in the studio. But this is the first time where we're actually sitting in each other's homes, sitting in front of a computer, just a couple hours after seeing Jonah Hex, and first time for everything. In this episode, we're going to talk about Jonah Hex, the new movie starring Josh Brolin and Megan Fox, and we're also going to discuss Toy Story 3, which we saw a couple days ago, which was exciting, I guess. But we'll get to that. Cool.
Okay.
Cool. John, did you have any DVDs you wanted to discuss, or we were just going to go on the...
Oh, let's just do the movies today. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that I've watched.
I still want to talk about Showgirls.
I know. But see, you're getting to be like me.
All right.
We'll compare.
Let's do Jonah Hex first, since we were kind of discussing it before we started the recording.
That works for me. Now, this is based on the DC comic of about a Civil War. I guess he's just a soldier, but he stopped. He's a Southern, Confederate soldier who disobeys an order from his boss to burn down a hospital. Some of the Confederates get killed, and they get revenge by killing his wife and kid and branding his face, which. And he becomes a bounty hunter. There's a lot of stuff going on. You don't want to give away too much, but that's a basic outline. And he goes after to get revenge on the guys who messed up his face.
For people who love revenge movies, this is the movie. Oh man, it is extreme revenge.
Yeah.
And Josh Brolin pulls it off pretty well in terms of his gruff demeanor and his low, scratchy voice,
and the poor guy having to wear that makeup because half his face is melted and there's like his one side of his face never shut. So there's some serious dental cosmetics in there keeping him from drooling all the time.
I have to tell you, I wasn't sure how I was going to make it through the movie having to look at that, but it doesn't become irritating. I thought it might be, but it's actually not. It actually. Got accustomed to it. It was okay. Yeah, I mean, whenever he drinks and whatnot, a little water spills through the side of the face. But
my friend Joanne hated it. She couldn't stand it.
He'll need a drool out
by the whole thing.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, one of the things I was wondering is, I had fun watching it, but it was like, 81 minutes long, and I really think it should have been longer. I don't say that about many movies, but it kind of crams too much of the story, and, just needed to stretch it out a bit, give people a little more introduction about who this guy was, because it all kind of piles up at the end. It gets a little...
it does move very swiftly, and I think this was sort of a... one of the publicists, we were at a press screening, and the publicist had mentioned beforehand the screening was going to be 81 minutes, so it's not that long. But
the press love to know how long it is. Like, we've got better things to do.
Well, I think what I thought is that do you think that this movie, that the director or the producers actually cut this thing down because maybe they realized that there were going to be some slow moments, and it does start off pretty fast, it keeps on moving. And John Malkovich, who plays the baddie, oh God, I forget his name, but anyway, he's the guy that Jonah Hex.
Quentin Turnbull.
And he, it's sort of a gladiator situation here in the first couple of minutes of the movie, where Jonah Hex watches his family die, and that's not really a spoiler, but this is his
his driving force.
Mode. His modus operandi is this is what he is out to kill Quentin Turnbull, and boy, is this movie about vengeance. Now I've said it again because I was sitting in front of these couple of, I don't know, I want to say goons. They're probably nice guys, but boy, they were saying some goonish things during the movie, particularly when they were offing a couple of the characters. And Jonah Hex has this special ability that if he touches a dead person, it momentarily revives them, brings them back to life, so he can actually talk to the person. So, he has offed this person in a somewhat spectacular way, and the guy behind me says, "But that's all." And then
I heard that.
Jonah Hex, and then he grabs him by the shirt again, and he rematerializes, and then further pounds the hell out of his face, and I thought to myself, he forgot to mutilate the corpse. That's what was missing. Oh my God!
For the kids.
Oh my God!
It's just for the kids.
Yeah, I do believe it. It was a somewhat rowdy crowd behind us, and there was a little bit of a lynch mob mentality regarding Jonah Hex beating up on some of these characters. It was
Were they
in a way
quiet then?
it became not so much a movie, but let's see how he can really just beat the hell out of these people. Pound them and shoot them and blow them up in so many different ways, and that's what was entertaining.
Did those guys become very?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Did those guys become very quiet when Megan Fox came on the screen? Like, ooh, Megan Fox.
You know what? They actually reacted at this point where she was in bed with Jonah Hex, and she rolls over to get out of bed, and apparently she didn't reveal enough of herself whilst getting out of bed, and the guy behind us goes, "Oh,"
He didn't get to see her thumbs.
He just didn't get that little,
flash.
The flash she was looking for. Thank you.
It's okay. It's okay. Believe me, if she had done that, I would think there's a reason for her to be in the movie because she doesn't do anything.
You're right on that.
Just a piece of wood,
Yeah. I was beginning to wonder if she was going to have any scenes outside the, the second floor outside the bedroom. Yeah.
No, and I don't get her. I don't understand what the fascination is with her at all. I never have.
I think the only thing that I don't believe her in any role that she's in, not any one of them, and probably the only role that maybe had some believability was Jennifer's Body, and that was because she was kind of playing this, really hot bitch.
Can you say that on Skype? Can you say bitch on Skype? I'm not sure.
She, and maybe it's just a matter of casting, that really makes things work, but she's just, I'm sorry, not believable.
No,
not for a second. And just as gorgeous as can be, but not believable.
See, no, that's just it. I don't even think she's that attractive. There's something weird looking about her. I don't know what it is. Believe me, I've studied her.
I used to think that about Cameron Diaz.
Yeah. You over that now?
Just her smile is just incredible, but incredibly large.
It's kind of like someone, when Silly Putty, remember Silly Putty? It's like someone took a Silly Putty impression of her and just kind of squeezed the head down a little. It made it odd shaped.
Like the John Travolta image on the front cover of the Old Dogs DVD.
Yeah, exactly.
The psycho smile. Oh my God. Anyway.
It's just stupid. But the thing is the action, and I was telling you guys before that the director of Jonah Hex, a guy named, and I will look it up, a guy named what is your name, buddy? Jimmy Hayward. Jimmy Hayward. The only other film he's directed has been Horton Hears a Who, and he's an animator he was an animator on Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Finding Nemo. So he's got like a Pixar Disney background. How he became the guy behind Jonah Hex, I'll never know. But I think he did a good job. The action's good. Yeah. Like I said, my only problem with it was I wanted the story to be slowed down a little bit. Because, again, I'm not that familiar with who this guy is, this Jonah Hex guy. I wanted to know a little bit more about him.
Yeah, there wasn't wasn't much setup to his character. It was kind of...
but the way they do it...
He's not multidimensional.
No. But I don't want that. Yeah. I don't want, I'm happy with just enough. But the way they do set it up by using animation, like from the comic book, I thought was interesting. But again, just stretch it out a little more. Slow it down and stretch it out. Give me a little more story. I don't need to see things blow up all the time.
I'll bet you this DVD is going to have 20 minutes to half hour of deleted scenes.
Oh, for Jonah Hex? I hope
Yeah,
it
the
comes to
Jonah
good.
Hex, the director's cut.
You know, you guys are always on. I mean, you're always doing it. I remember when Brett was on. You always talk about soundtracks, and the
Hmm.
soundtrack for Jonah Hex is by a metal band called Mastodon, who
I was trying to remember the name of you know, the band, but yes,
yeah, Mastodon.
this is.
Considering it's a Civil War, action movie, I think using a really heavy metal band um, I liked it, but it's going to be an
This is
odd
going to
choice
play to
because
its audience for sure.
yeah, yeah, you've got a guy, a guy with a half deformed face, killing bad guys by the boatload, and all to the sound of Mastodon. What's not to like? What's
Yeah,
not
I
to
can't
hate?
think of another. What would be another movie like this that has an all heavy metal soundtrack? I mean, Flash Gordon was over the top in terms of its music, which was great, and Jonah Hex kind of does that. The music really kind of takes it over the top. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
it wasn't the kind of thing where I I thought at first it was distracting, but once I got into it, I was like, and the thing is, I've had a chance I interviewed one of the guys from Mastodon, and I've listened to a couple of their
really.
CDs. I'm not a huge fan, but I kind of know that sound. And
Hmm.
I was kind of, there were scenes where like, oh, like stuff's blowing up, people are getting killed, but man, listen to that music. That's so not Civil War.
Oh, it's heavy bass, and
Yeah,
there's no vocals or anything as far as I know, but
oh
it
no,
really yeah, they rocked it. You know.
yeah,
And I think some parts of the movie come across as just that. It's, cool action scenes backed by, a rock and metal soundtrack.
yeah.
And so it is what it is, you know.
That's a
Um,
good thing,
I,
I think.
I think the scenes where Jonah brings back the people from the dead were kind of cool. The way they did that with the effects. And who was the bad guy, the Irish guy who was like Quentin Turnbull's henchman? Was
Oh,
that
I have no idea. The guy with the
uh,
tattooed chin, or like his throat and his chin were all tattooed.
um
That Michael Fassbender, was that him?
I I don't remember.
I'm gonna
Don't
say it
remember.
was.
But anyway, yeah, I thought God. All right. At some point during the podcast, we'll remember the guy's name, but he was good. Tattooed all the way up to the chin, and he was a character other than John Malkovich's character that had something to him.
Well,
At the end.
there's
And it's
it's
Aidan
funny.
Quinn. Oh,
No,
no,
no.
that's President Grant. Sorry.
Well, that's just the
Uh,
thing. There was some odd casting in this, and one was Aidan Quinn as Ulysses S. Grant, Will Arnett as Lieutenant Grass, who's one of the guys who's helping, defeat John Malkovich. Wes Bentley was like this. I mean, I think he was like a rich guy. He was a trader who helped John Malkovich find, the things he needed to make his super weapon.
boy,
It was all
there's a guy whose career hasn't really gone
who
the way it
Wes?
could have. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's too bad.
kind of tanked. But one of the things, did you like John Malkovich as a bad guy? I mean,
I did.
we talked about
Always
bad guys
have.
before, like trying to be too funny, trying to be too cool or something. This guy's just a bad guy.
You know, it's
You
in
know?
a way for me, it's funny. There's not many movie stars that live around here, but John Malkovich lives in Cambridge, and we went to the same barber shop. So on a couple of occasions, would see him in the barber shop. And it'd be next in line, and he has all this hair in the movie, but in real life he's bald. And he comes in and he gets a complete shave. You know, all the way down to the chrome dome. But boy, he sure does have the hair in this movie.
Well, it's funny. I just watched In the Line of Fire. The Clint Eastwood movie
Yeah.
about he's a Secret Service guy assigned to protect the president, and John Malkovich is the bad guy in that. And it's a chilling performance, and that's what I
Yeah.
enjoyed about this is that he's not trying to be likable, he's not trying to be funny, he's just a badass,
Mm-hmm.
and it's nice to see that someone like an actor like him take it seriously and just be bad.
Yeah.
So I thought he did
He's
a great
good at
job.
it. Yeah, he's got all those little nuanced things that he does. It doesn't take him long to be believable. I mean,
No.
you know, we're watching it, we're thinking John Malkovich, but boy, it just he's entertaining. You know,
Mm-hmm.
even with these little stupid lines, you know, as far as like, ignite the fireballs. Basically, his objective here is to they've acquired some sort of um,
Super
I don't know,
weapon.
some sort of super weapon that
Yeah.
you know, if you know, once these larger huge like iron balls are fired into the city, there's this smaller nuclear one which is basically the detonator, and you know,
Yeah.
John Malkovich will give the signal, or Quentin Turnbull will give the signal to, you know, detonate, but he does it in such a offhanded way that makes it seem
Mm-hmm.
you know, like no big whoop. I mean, he's basically like sipping tea while all of this happens. But the thrust of the thing is here is he's, you know, trying to destroy entire towns, entire cities with this super weapon, which he explains was invented by Eli Whitney. And
Well, that wasn't that hilarious? Yeah, it's like he invented the cotton gin. He studied the Industrial Revolution. Oh, and then the army hired him to develop a super weapon.
and thanks for that,
Okay.
man.
Yeah,
All of his
it's kind of silly.
combustible engines and
Yeah.
whatnot has morphed into a super weapon that can somehow be hefted on the monitor. And they have this. I thought that this new sort of, I don't know. This is like an alternate universe movie where they at one point put the monitor against the Merrimack, and you know, it's in a way it's kind of original. I was trying to figure out what else to compare it to, and you know, Westworld, but you know, not even that. And then we briefly discussed Wild Wild West, which was, you know, I think an absurd comparison in a way, but also, you know, it seems to have this like futuristic Western style technology
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that was sort of similar, but so I don't know. It is kind of a unique film.
Yeah,
So
very
I
entertaining.
guess I would recommend it.
Oh, I would definitely recommend it. And I can't wait to talk to
Okay.
other critics because I know there are some people who aren't going to recommend it. They just don't like it for whatever reason.
Names, John. Names. Name names.
Um, Greg. I can't remember his last name. Greg was on Facebook already saying how much
Yeah.
he didn't like it. You know, that cracks me up. I'm not even home yet, and these guys are posting their reviews on Facebook already.
I know. We're actually not supposed to do that, I guess. It's some.
Yeah,
I forget, you know.
that's the Disney thing too. With their they were all over Toy Story 3. You couldn't talk about it. Don't talk about it.
Yeah, talking about
Yeah.
Toy Story 3. When was the last one? It was, my God, 6-7 years ago? Something like that? Or what, it could have been 2000 or
No,
1999.
really.
I don't
That's
know.
what,
All right. Sitting in front of the computer here.
yeah.
Toy Story 3, um, 2010. Wow, 11 years. Man, I remember it like it was yesterday. Crazy.
Well, you saw it yesterday.
I
Oh, Toy Story
well,
2.
you know, Toy Story 2. I was just like the whole opening with Buzz Lightyear and you know, Emperor Zurg, and that whole battle sequence was just phenomenal. I just can't believe that was 10 years ago. Crazy.
Yeah.
You know, in a way, I can't believe Toy Story was 1995. You know, believe it or not.
I'm getting older as we talk. I'm
I
sitting here
saw it
just
at
growing old.
yeah, Copley. Copley was where I saw it, and yeah.
So
Oh well,
Did Toy Story
1995.
3 hold up? Did you still think it was a fitting? Was it worth the wait?
Um, well, to tell you the truth, I really wasn't kind of waiting for it, but it's nice that it's here.
You were
It
just sitting
is.
around for the past 11 years waiting.
Yeah, I must say I really enjoyed it. The thing that I remember first, John, is okay. We're watching this press screening at on the new IMAX screen at Boston Commons, which is kind of like half an IMAX screen. It's not like a full IMAX screen, but
Right.
it's pretty impressive. And so they set us up, you know, with these new 3D glasses and whatnot, and the trailer for the I don't know, the IMAX experience trailer
Oh, yeah,
plays.
yeah.
It just wows everybody. I mean, there was applause after this minute-long trailer that was, like theater rumbling kind of thing. And then Toy Story 3. No. And then the short Day and Night starts.
Yeah, which was pretty
terrific.
amazing too. Yeah.
Really, really beautiful. That was in a way, kind of, a whole new style for Pixar. But the thing I'm getting to is Toy Story 3 starts, right?
Mm.
And it starts with, there's this action sequence and whatnot, and there's 3D going around. But, John, every now and then, you were sitting right in front of me, and every now and then, something would come out of the screen, and it would combine with the back of your head, because the 3D was coming all the way out, and then the silhouette of your head would intercept the 3D image, so I'm getting these rings flying at me, and then all of a sudden, John's head.
Did I ruin it for you?
No. It was amusing. In fact, during the IMAX trailer, there's this huge sort of like Saturn like ring or something that slowly moves from right to left. It's like this huge 3D thing that's filling the theater, right? And it goes right through your head. It's that kind of. It was pretty good. Okay.
I'm available to sit in front of them in upcoming screenings if they want to have the same, experience you did.
Well, the reason it went, it kind of mixes with the person's head in front of you is this screen literally goes down to the floor. So you are gonna, you are gonna get people's heads. I'm sorry. What?
Was this the first time you've seen a movie in
there? With the IMAX screen, yeah.
Huh.
You?
I saw Iron Man when I went back to see Iron Man a second time.
Ah.
And, kept nodding off, falling asleep, but it was, so loud. That's the funny thing about this new IMAX thing. It's so overwhelming. It's such a big picture. It's so loud that they no longer have press screenings in the theater next door because if something's playing in the IMAX, it rumbles through the walls.
Huh.
Which was a little side note there. But anyway,
what they're charging for it?
Oh, it was $16 for Iron Man. And a matinee. No.
$16 matinee.
Right. Here's the thing.
For that.
Toy Story 3 would be just as good on my little portable DVD player as it is on the big screen with all the 3D. And, the 3D, it's cool, I guess, but the movie's so good, it would have worked on a tiny screen. I could watch it on my iPhone, and it would still be as good. I mean, there is something to say about the spectacle, but there's also something about you bring the family of four. It's going to cost you a fortune.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked. I thought it was going to be like 15 for for the just a regular feature, and then maybe 10 or 11 for a matinee, but not 15.
I think it was 15. But anyway, so let's go back to we're going to get back to
John, are you a fan of Toy Story?
Everyone
you dig
is,
these things?
Oh yeah. How can you not? They're very well done. Tom Hanks as Woody and Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear, great characters. And there's plenty of other characters going on. I love the piggy bank. I like the dog. I like the potato head. It's all good good fun and good Pixar movies. Pixar has that knack for making
it's just so well written. And
exactly.
they move along so briskly, and the humor isn't alienating in terms of it being childish. There's things that are just truly funny that no matter what your age, you're gonna dig it. I was just watching Toy Story the other day, and they had I was impressed by the jokes that I feel like the kids it would just go right over their heads, but it's amusing. They were that Woody was saying to everybody, gather around. We're going to do the minutes on having our plastic corrosion meeting.
Mm-hmm.
There are moments in Toy Story 3 that sort of the adult sensibilities that are really funny, even particularly with the stuff with Ken.
Ken and Barbie, yeah.
Ken and Barbie, and Ken, the new voice Ken who gives Barbie a tour of his dream, which is bless you.
Yeah, did that record well?
I heard pretty well.
Anyway, and there's a great nostalgia factor for adults watching this. I remember in one of them there was Rock'em Sock'em Robots jokes, or
Right.
the
Right.
they bring out these old toys like that. There's a scene in Toy Story 3 where it's a little play school telephone
Mm-hmm.
that gives Woody the background on what's going on in the daycare where they end up. And I can remember having that phone.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah. And so for the third movie, we've got Andy, who is, I guess he's 17, 18 now and about to leave for college. And what the toys are worried about is whether or not they're going to end up in the attic or in the
Thrown out in
garbage.
the trash, yeah.
Whether or not Andy cares anymore. And there's a misunderstanding towards the beginning. Some of the toys believe that Andy had wanted to get rid of them. So they were, kind of like, done with this. He didn't want us anyway, but he genuinely wanted to put them in the attic. But long story short, Andy's sister is cleaning up her room, and they were going to be moving some toys over to, or donate them to the Sunnyside Daycare Center.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a place that figures in Toy Story 3, and the toys make it over to daycare, which is the Shangri-La actually turns into quite a nightmare because they're treated as if the place were a prison. In fact, the animators had, in their research and preparing to bring the daycare center to life, had went over to Alcatraz to
What?
study. Yeah, they studied the prison environment.
Where did you
And,
see this?
They were research, and so they, the toys are over at the Sunnyside Daycare Center, and this is where we meet a whole bunch of new toys. One in particular is Lotso, the teddy bear. I don't recall who he's voiced by, but he's a teddy bear.
You didn't
with
recognize Ned Beatty?
Oh, Ned Beatty, yeah. Okay.
Well, and they end up when they go there at first it seems like a Shangri-La, but like you said, they get put in the room with the younger kids who just beat on them and don't really play with them, just tear them apart, which is kind of funny.
Right.
And then there's again, it's kind of like every Toy Story movie has the same. One of them is in trouble, and they've all got to band together and rescue him. But it works.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely works.
Michael Keaton is Ken. Yeah, I thought that might not have been a good choice because the voice would stand out, but it is really funny.
I didn't know it was Michael Keaton until I saw the name.
Really?
I had no idea. I didn't recognize that voice at all.
Well, on Comcast, they've got a Toy Story 3 section, and you can go and click on like the different introductions to the characters. So they had a mini piece on Ken, and actually some, how Toy Story does that fake archival footage, the black and white stuff, like it started The Incredibles and whatnot.
Right,
they do that with Ken, like a 60s Barbie commercial with Ken.
Hey, you stayed later. Was there any bonus footage at the end? Any outtakes?
No, they didn't do that.
Bummer.
They didn't do that. There's a couple of things that Pixar, in their vast storytelling knowledge, didn't add to Toy Story 3, and one of them was the first two Toy Stories had a musical interlude with. I think the first movie was with Randy Newman. The second one was with Sarah McLachlan. But there was nothing, they didn't use the same sort of 100% storytelling format here. They did it in Cars. They had, their musical interlude.
Mm-hmm. Interlude.
The musical interlude. But not with this one. Not with this one.
I didn't miss it, though. I didn't really...
No, I think the audience became very aware that these things were a staple of other Pixar movies, so they, not to be missed.
Well, and the thing is, something I was wondering, there are some scenes, we talked about the balance between adults and kids and, making everyone happy in the audience, but there's a scene, without giving anything away, where the the toys are in real trouble. Like
Yeah.
real danger. And it was odd because I wondered if it would be too intense for kids because kids love these characters. They're real. They're not just great animated characters. Woody and Buzz are real, and they end up in a pretty dangerous situation. I wonder if you had any reaction, if you thought it was maybe too
You're
much
right,
for
John. There's
kids.
some actual toy peril in this movie.
Toy peril.
Uh, and not just the kind at the beginning where they did like they did at the beginning of Toy Story 2, where they in Toy Story 3 they have it's like a full-scale Toy Story adventure, where
Mm-hmm.
Andy's fantasy comes to life with all the toys being, they have to save this train, the train from blowing up on the bridge, and Buddy
Escape the
and
monkeys. Death by
yeah,
monkeys.
and the monkeys. And oh God, what's Cliff Clavin's character again? The evil pig. It was pretty
Mm-hmm.
funny. So, but
But towards the
yeah,
end of
there's
this,
some real.
it's not a jokey thing. They're about to be killed,
Yeah, yeah.
and it was
Well,
just like,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I just thought it was odd because it was just a little more intense than I thought this movie was going to get. I was never in fear,
Well,
but
it's a good thing it did because I think it made up for. Um, I don't know. I think what I want to say is I felt this. It's a great movie. It has this wonderful beginning action sequence, playtime sequence, I guess. Then the toys worry. They get moved to the daycare center. Um, I wouldn't say that there was a whole lot of emotional stuff going on,
mm-hmm.
but uh, the movie really does redeem itself in the last half hour. It really did. It got it went deep, and we knew it was coming. We knew that there was going to be something final about this, and it worked. What'd you think?
Oh, same thing. It was light fun. There's always, even when they were trying to, bad things were happening that they carried. Never, there's more slapstick than anything else. But then, towards the end when they're in this big moment, nothing's really going to happen. But it was just the whole thing. I think it just ratcheted up pretty intense.
Yeah,
And I don't care what kids think. If parents are going to bring their kids to it, fine. It's nothing
Pixar is
to,
always fun to watch.
yeah, but I don't think it got so intense that little children are going to be upset by it or anything like that. And you
Hmm.
know how it is with parents, especially at free screenings, they'll drag the kids to R-rated movies if it gets them out of the house.
Yeah,
But no, I enjoyed the whole thing. I walked out of there with a big smile on my face.
there's this terrific subplot with this girl who finds um, Woody's. Yeah, no. She actually Woody does escape at one point from the daycare, but he ends
Mm,
up in the
Bonnie.
yeah, with Bonnie, this little girl who has another collection of toys at home that are actually pretty funny. One of them voiced by Timothy Dalton, who's trying to play the part of a toy. He's a thespian. It's terrific.
Yeah,
And then
that
the
is funny.
Triceratops with the Kristen Schaal from Flight of the Conchords. It's pretty funny. But I think tops among this new group of toys is, I don't know who this guy is, but he's like the frowning clown who tells the story of Lotso.
Hmm.
That was amusing. That was amusing. I liked this character of this young girl who um, comes into the possession of Woody and is a
Well, and plus,
terrific scene at the end, towards the end.
she's she's a reminder of what the toys are really there for, that to be played with. And this when Woody ends up, he's anxious to get back and save his friends, but he ends up in this room where the toys are doing what they do. They make this girl happy at her tea party and whatever else they do. It's pretty funny.
Hmm.
But it adds a nice, and it does, without giving away, it sets up the ending beautifully.
Yeah,
For what happens at the end. It just works beautifully because of that. So
yeah, and um, you know, I can't. I guess there could be a Toy Story 4, but
no,
no,
do you really want one?
it's really they really put a they really closed this one down, I guess, in a way.
And plus, what did we say? It's been 11 years.
Yeah.
I'll be too old if they do another one. I'll be too old to go to the movie. I'll get the senior discount, but I'll still be too old to. I'll definitely be too old to review.
Yeah.
They wait, 2020. Forget it. I'll be 60. 60.
Well, wasn't so much looking forward to it, but I'm glad they made it, and Pixar is always a blast. There's so much nuance to this film. You could see it 3 times, and there'd still be stuff you never saw.
That's the funny thing is, Pixar. Every time they come up with a new movie, you're like, is this the one where they just kind of miss it, miss it totally? But they never seem to do it. They always seem to come up with something, up. It was fantastic. Yeah. The only time I've heard people disagree about it is Cars, and I like Cars a lot, and I know people who hate Cars.
Yeah, I've kind of heard the same thing too, and I think with Cars, they were still working the same formula.
Right.
And Pixar didn't put a lot into the production of the DVD. I feel like they tipped their hand on all the extra features and everything that they had done with their prior films. That maybe Cars was like a process movie. Maybe everything was already in place, and they just produced another movie. But I loved it.
Cars.
I digged it, and I'd be happy to see Toy Story 3 again.
Yeah, definitely. And then I'll sneak in because I won't pay. I saved my glasses. I saved my glasses. I made sure I didn't recycle them. I know I'm a bad man, but I know that if I get a chance, the only problem is it's in Theater 1, so it'll be tough to sneak in.
Would you recommend people see it?
Oh yeah.
2D or 3D?
Are they showing it in 2D or is it? I don't think it. I don't think it would matter. Like I said, I think you could watch it on a iPhone and still enjoy it. It's that well done. Yeah, it is a thrill to see it on the big screen with all the, that overwhelming screen. Even if my giant head is in the way and you can't see it, it's still worth seeing.
It is. I can't think of anything else to say about Toy Story 3. So I guess we might be done here.
I was just going to say we can sign off then.
Yeah, let us know what you think. We'd really love to hear from you. Send us an email at postmoviepodcast@gmail.com and check us out online at post-movie.net. And check us out on Facebook too. We post a number of things there too. So definitely check it out. But mostly send us an email because if you disagree with us, we'd like to argue the point. If you agree with us, that's great too.
We will read your email on the air. Yeah, I think if they listen to the Showgirls episode and then they do our Sex and the City 2 episode, we'll get some hate mail. I would hope. I'd hope I'm offending someone out there.
Mail is good.
Don't make me get all offensive.
So until next week.
Yes.
I'm Steve Head.
I'm John Black.
And this is the Post Movie Podcast, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.